was the
Huh? Did you find the artist?
right now?
Huh?
Do it right now.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I told you, but I don't know if you like.
I was in Mills.
Yes, you're focused.
Who's the artist?
Focused.
Who's the artist?
Evie. Millennial. I think it's Do It Again. That is it. That is it. You stay the same. So do you have the love you easy?
Got it.
Do you have? I think I made this song. Love you don't That's really bad. It's way too broken up. People be doing it though. I said that was a really bad run. Why is they not spell right? Maybe it's me that's not spelling it right. Did I think that?
You need a bottle of one?
Sure. I will take one. I will. So I will. I'll make room for you. I will. Prepare to. So don't feel that you can't live here. Please let me.
The lift is crazy.
Hmm?
The lift is not crazy.
Who?
The delay is crazy like the lift.
It's not really. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah, that's an insane delay.
It's almost a full minute.
Yeah.
It's very rude.
Well, that's a down on the phones. I'm so mad.
It's the disrespect for me. It's the disrespect for me.
That computer.
Huh?
Right with that computer.
Is what?
Right to read the computer.
Oh.
Is it not on sleep? Or
What?
the computer? Oh, it's the computer that knows.
It is?
Oh, it's your computer that knows.
Oh, it's not off. No, I was like, what noise? I thought you were saying it's making noise right now. I was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay, just made a...
It is nice.
Okay. Alright, I'm ready.
Hey, what is your name?
And the bouncing thing, I was just looking at that.
What's up?
Miss Lady, what is you doing? No, it was Candytopia. I came out there for like, well, alright, Tashina. I just saw a comment at the top. I never knew that was her middle name. That's interesting.
Who?
Tashina.
What's that?
Her middle name, I didn't know that was her middle name.
Oh.
I never knew that. I never knew that. That's this. Yes, because it's 3:41, and I really do not have any desire to be recording all day. Things to do.
Yeah, that works. It does sound weird. I just say.
It does sound weird, what?
You know, that extra sound coming from. Actually, I know it is.
What it is?
It might be because I'm getting volume from both me and you.
And?
So that's why it sounds like a little extra yeah
Okay.
in the sound.
Okay. Well, let's get the party started, Mr. Sir.
Okay. Let's minimize the sensitivity slightly. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes, I can hear
Talking. We enjoy our song together. Do you hear that sound?
Yes, I hear it.
Where's it coming from?
I thought it was something you were doing.
I was not. It was like this. No, good. Alright. Let's get right into it.
Please. Let us. Better days are coming. Hmm?
It was too low. I'm trying to.
It's too low?
It was too low. I'm doing to.
You stay. Hey, hey.
What up, what up? It's the All of No Fear podcast.
Yeah. We here.
Yep.
I should get BET Plus. I keep saying I'm going to do it. How much it cost?
Plus?
Yeah. Because there's some shows on there that I like the show with Jill Scott and Ryan Michelle Baith and Michelle Buteau. I like that show. I think it's called First Wives Club. I like that show.
I actually have no desire to be for that network at all.
I just want that show specifically. That and there's another show called Bigger that I've heard good things about that I want to see. But beyond that, they can have the rest of the
I don't know.
platform.
That's enough shows for me.
Well, I love Jill Scott, so I'm willing to spend money to support her because I think she's great.
No, I'll support her. I don't know if that's enough for a whole network to get my money.
I know. I think that's my conflict. Is like I have my conflicts with BET as a concept, and so
like the one subscription service that I feel justified and I feel good about it after still is HBO Max.
Nah, HBO Max is absolutely worth the money.
I still feel good about it.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth the money.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Yeah, it's worth the money. You should get it.
HBO Max is cool. Disney Plus has grown to be better.
Yeah, Disney Plus is worth the money as well if you're into
just for Marvel bites.
Just for the Marvel things. Like it's good for that.
Yeah, I guess if you want to see Disney, I guess in terms of the Disney shows, like it's annoying, I guess, because HBO Max doesn't charge extra for like the same day as the theater and everything, and Disney Plus does.
Yeah.
But I guess it is beneficial in terms of as soon as that time frame is over, of like the as soon as that time frame of the premium is over, it gets right into the actual
content.
The content goes right to free content, like right there. So like some of the kid movies, I was like, I would look at a preview of like, I'm probably never going to see this, but if it comes on Disney Plus, I might see it. I think I saw two of them that came out. The Raya.
The Raya?
Raya was a dragon.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like that came out, I was like, pretty much sure I'm going to see this one. I'll see if it comes out on Disney Plus. And like at Disney Plus, it was like $20 first. I was like, not going to do that.
No, it's not.
But then it wasn't $20, and I watched it. I was like, okay. It wasn't worth the $20, but it was a good show.
You were entertained. It captured your attention for the allotted time.
And then for the other one too, what is that one?
The Luca one?
Luca.
I still haven't seen that. I have to watch that.
It's
Because Avery watched it like 3 times.
Yes, and like, so I'm glad it got out of the formula of like it having to have a deeper meaning and getting you to cry, and like. It has to be like drama. It's just a fun movie. Okay. And that is it. Okay. There's no deep meaning. There's no like creepy backstory. There's no with a troubled past. None of that is happening. It's just a fun story.
Okay. I like fun stories.
And I think people are like, finally we just have just a fun story. It's like there's no crazy thing behind it. There's no I think even like part of it, like people were like, oh, it was about to be a crazy backstory with this character, and it wasn't. And I was like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah. I have to watch it. I keep saying I'm going to, and I just keep forgetting, but I really do have to get into it. Because the fact that Avery sat and watched it like twice in a row, I was like, she must really have been entertained by it. She must have really liked it. Because she doesn't like a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'll do that one of the days this week. Or maybe tonight. Now I think the Olympics is done, so I can pay attention to other things now.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Right.
So I can see what the hype of Luca is about. So how are you? What's going on?
I'm good. Good. We I guess we'll get into the Kevin stage thing later, or we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean we can talk about it now because I forgot to write it down as part of our thing, so we might not get to it if we don't talk about it now. So before we get into that, welcome to our listeners.
Yeah.
Spotify, Our website.
What is that?
What? Listen.
Welcome, listeners. Spotify.
Look,
what intro is that? This is the season 4, episode 18 of the All Love No Fur podcast with your host.
I'm KB, and apparently not doing a great job.
What is that? Listeners, Spotify.
The people read between the lines and didn't know where I was going with it. Mark, you hating it right now.
There's no subtext.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry. My bad. In my head, I think I said a lot more than what actually came out. So I kind of filled in the blanks in between in my head. My bad. My apologies.
What's that?
Don't judge me. You've given some bad intros in your day. So
wasn't this Cliff Note subtext you were doing?
Hey.
All right. Appreciate everybody on the Patreons. I appreciate everybody listening on Spotify, on our website. I appreciate all of y'all.
Yes, big appreciation.
We appreciate all of y'all.
So much. Oh my God. So much.
Greatness. Yeah. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for
tuning in and all that jazz. All that jazz.
Yeah. So last night we went to see Kevin on Stage. We've spoken about him on this podcast before.
Yes.
Kevin on Stage presents. I forgot the name of this tour.
I don't remember. It's something simple too.
Is it Unruly Cousins?
Let me look it up because Lord knows I don't remember.
Because
it's something simple.
I think they call themselves Unruly Cousins, so it might be that. It's Kevin on Stage.
Angel, that chick Angel.
That chick Angel, and to hear more. They usually hang out. They have like all types of
content together.
They're friends. They're business partners. It's just a lot of things that they work together with everything. Like if you've seen one of them, you've seen the others.
Yeah. They were on all deaf comedy.
Yeah.
At one point.
Well, not
Angel, but Tahir was.
That's how they. I think that's how they met.
Yeah.
Just through there, and like Kevin on Stage. I think Kevin on Stage had to fire Tahir from All Deaf, but then he was like, "Hey, but do you want to be a host on my tour? Like when I go perform?"
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, even when he went to perform, he hired Tahir to come host. Because Kevin was just like, I gotta fire you because of this job. Tells me I gotta fire you.
Right.
But I still think you're talented. And like he was feeling bad for that you fired. Maybe you fired. He was like, hey, don't you want to work with me though? I know I have to fire you, but don't you want to? I think he was like one of the managers at All Deaf.
True story. I can't find the name of it.
Yeah.
But it's a tour. Yes.
But yeah, I think that he has a company, Kevin on Stage Studios now. He has an app, production company. He's a product of. I've tried many times to get gigs because he's always wanted to act and do more shows and everything, and he was wanting to make movies and stuff like that, and people have not been picking it up. So he was like, forget this, I'm just going to do it myself. He's really a product of that, of like, no one's picking up my things, no one's hiring me, so I'm just going to hire myself.
Right. And
was able to make, have the friends, the capital, and the means to do that. And it's been working out. So it was good. I'm glad that he's doing well. The show was funny.
Yes, it was really funny. It was too short in my opinion. Like I wanted more, but I guess maybe that's a good thing that your audience leaves wanting more. I'm sorry, I just kicked the bejesus out of the mic stand.
Yes.
But yeah, I was like, when it was over, I was like, it's over already? Yeah. I'm ready for more jokes. I'm ready to laugh some more. But my cheeks did hurt from laughing, so I definitely.
Yeah, it was good.
I definitely enjoyed myself.
I did.
It's so funny. So there, in the one we went to, there was a guy in the audience. Kevin on Stage was talking about songs that all black people know, and even like white people songs that black people be knowing. And he was like, when he got to the white people song, he was like, I see some white people in the audience. I need y'all to sing along with this. And there was this white guy that did not know any of the songs. He was.
Well, I don't know if he didn't know his song, but he wasn't. No, I think he started off with the black song.
Uh-huh.
And he was singing, and he was like, he first started off like everyone singing. He was like, "You're not singing. Why are you not singing? Start singing, please." And then he quit another song. He was like, "You're still not singing. I don't understand why you're not singing." and he was like, "You sing something? You don't know the song?" He's like, "All right, Happy Birthday. Come on, sing." He kept going back and forth with him because like I think he seemed like a guy. I don't know if he didn't know any song, but he's just not someone who just like participates that way, which is fine.
Yeah.
But not when you're in the front of the like. You have to participate when you're in like front of the comedy show because you're going to get clowned. It's just part of the course.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're going to be in the front, you need to participate and laugh.
Yeah.
You can't be in the front of a comedy show and be like, I'm gonna be serious.
Yeah.
Cool. You can't do that because they're going to pick you out like you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
That's what happened. And funny enough, the guy was the husband of one of my high school friends. Apparently, because I posted a picture on my Facebook story of the placard outside for the concert, and she was like, "Oh," she messaged me. She was like, "I was there too. My husband was the guy that didn't know any of the songs." I was like, "Yo, that's hilarious." Like, never in a million years did I think, "Oh, I would actually know that random, or I know anybody connected to that random person that was being clowned at the concert, but at the show." But it was a good time. I liked the location it was at. The food was meh, but I was hungry, so it was what it was. But at least we didn't have to park far, which was exciting because I was not really wearing park far shoes. So it was a good time. I enjoyed myself.
I just want New York City to adapt New Jersey parking policies.
Yeah, because the parking is very respectful in New Jersey.
In terms of cost.
In terms of price, it's very respectful.
We had a show for 2 hours. It was like $6 to $8, which never happens in New York.
Nah.
That thing it's a cool 20.
Every time. Every time. Every time. Like, if you park in New York City and you really was trying to run in some place for 10 minutes, you might as well use the whole hour because you're paying for it.
Yeah. I be forgetting that other places are respectful until I go to other cities. Because I think it happened before. I went to Philly, went to Jersey, even DC. Like, what did DC? I don't know if it was DC. But a few places I went to, I was like, I gotta park. I went there, I was like, oh, that's it? I could do that.
Yeah.
But in my New York City parking mind, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Like, Mark, I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the podcast before, but Mark is, like, religiously opposed to paying for parking. Religiously. Like, Mark will drive around and around and around to find a non-cost parking spot. Because he does not like paying for parking.
I don't like it.
He does not like it at all. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and do it because it's like, do we want to get to our destination in a timely fashion, or do we want to play the drive around game? But
I blame my previous job.
You were like that from before, but sure.
No, but they made it worse.
How so? Tell me how.
Because I remember I started working there, and then like I would park at one. Like I was like, oh, we're gonna park. I used to park in one place, and like everybody was like, oh, we parks here. And then like the cops started giving tickets because we couldn't park there anymore. And I was like, so where am I going to park? I was like, you think I'm gonna pay for parking every day? You must be crazy. Think for a second. Paying parking every day for 8 hours. That sounds insane. They were not paying me enough, especially at that time. I just started working there.
Yeah.
I have things to pay for. What I don't have time to pay for is this parking every day. So I was like, nah. So I would drive around and find. I knew where all the free parking spots were around my job. I knew where they were, how they work. So I was like, every morning I was like, all right, check here, not there. I would know where they are because I'm like, nah. So like from that mindset, I was like in the routine of, nah, there's free parking somewhere. Like so, like, I've adapted. Free parking somewhere.
I mean, there is, but like you just got to work for it.
Yeah, and like when I first started working, I used to park mad far. I did not care. I found closer parking spots later. I used to park over by like where Ferrari used to live.
Oh wow, you used to park all the way over there?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not paying for parking. I don't care. Let's go.
That's a walk.
I was like,
that's a walk from over there. I was like,
didn't care.
That's.
What I wasn't doing was paying.
I mean,
I was not paying.
Listen, that's where I'm different. Like I'll pay if it's gonna be that kind of walk. I'll pay.
I was not paying.
I mean, that's not like a super far walk. It's probably the walk that I walk from the subway to my office building. No, it's not. It's not that long. I don't walk that far. But still, I would just pay.
I could say it's about your subway walk. It's not as bad as you think it is.
In my head, it's a lot of walking.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah, because I walk like
it's 3 times longer than like my normal spot in front of the bus station.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad.
Allegedly.
No, I would say it's 3 times. Maybe like 2 times.
I don't know. What I know is that I don't know about this walking business. not like that.
Yeah, I'm like.
No, I'll pay for the parking. I will.
Yeah, like only certain things will get me to the I'll pay, and like even with that, that's if like I might pay if we're going to like a dinner or something. Or something like that, where like I know it's like about
there's people waiting for me, or it's like there's something time attached to it.
Or it's just like for dinner, you're not usually there for over 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I can pay for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or at this meter, I can do that. I can figure. Like it's not too crazy for the 2 hour meter, right? So like I was like, all right, I'll do that. But like 7-8 hours.
It's too much. It's that time. It's like that time I told my dad when he came to visit me when I was pregnant. I said, "Don't drive into the city. Take the Long Island Railroad and then take the subway." I gave him the directions and everything. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to drive," and then ended up driving and paid like $80 for a parking garage. And was mad about it. I'm like, "But I told you not to drive here."
He's from California.
I expressly told you. Don't do it. The parking, there's no parking. Like where I work is Lower Manhattan by the World Trade Center. Yeah. There is no parking.
Yeah.
If there is parking, it's like permit parking only. It's not, there's very few, just like I could pull up and park on the street type of places.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to be a parking garage.
Right.
And I told him that. He didn't want to listen. And he was tight. I was like, but I told you.
As one would be.
Like the cheapest parking place around me is $55. I'm like, bro, don't do it. Reconsider.
But I understand your anger.
But I told you. You felt rich. Here we are. I don't know what to do about that.
Word.
But yeah, that was that. So he's learned. I think he won't be driving into Manhattan anymore.
Yeah. Shut that down.
Yeah. Immediately. Well, all right, y'all. It's time to move into this pod.
Yeah. All right.
And get to the things.
To our icebreaker, which
is
called
Love It or Lose It. Hey, love it or lose it. Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. So, this week's Love It or Lose It. Love It or Lose It's a little game you play at the top of the podcast. One of us usually knows what the options are. So, we usually have 4 options that we present to the other person. And then we have to choose one that we would love forever, would never let it go, wouldn't trade it for the world, and one that we would dash away, throw in the garbage, never to be seen again, goso like the baby. And so this week's Love It or Lose It options, because we're fat kids over here at the All Love No Fear podcast. I was on the internet just looking at pictures, and pictures of cake popped up, and I said, thoughts. So this week's Love It or Lose It, cake fillings, cake slice fillings. So when you get cake that's like two or more layers, essentially, there's usually some type of filling in the middle to hold the layers together. So the 4 filling options that I have for us to choose from this week are, you ready, Mark? Cannoli, pineapple, lemon raspberry, vanilla custard. Those are your cake fillings. Which would you love?
Such a Kristin.
Which would you lose?
Such a Kristin. Love It or Lose It. That's what this is. That is.
What does that mean?
Cake filling is not my cup of tea at all. If I have to choose one, I can throw them all out. Actually, I can throw them all out. It'll be fine.
You don't particularly care for cake filling?
I'll eat it if it's there, but I never want it.
That's fine.
Lose it the most. You said cannoli,
pineapple, lemon raspberry.
How does cannoli taste? So I can get this in my
delicious.
Because the least helpful you still be.
I don't know how to describe it. It's just tasty. It's delightful. I remember the first time I ever had a cake with cannoli filling. I was like, what is that? Shout out to Dortoni's. It's lit. Dortoni's in Levittown, I think it is. Bethpage, one of the places. Ooh, the bed.
Cannoli filling.
Yes.
What else?
Pineapple, like what Avery's birthday cake was when her first year birthday cake. Lemon raspberry, vanilla custard. Debate.
It's funny because I like a lot of mixy, except with my cakes and desserts. Except with my cakes. I mean, bare minimum.
You need the basic cakes, which is crazy because I'm the opposite. I'm well, mix it up. Let me see what you come up with.
All that mixy and give me cake.
So basically, you just want a vanilla cake.
No. Just I'll take a flavored cake, but all the extra stuff, I don't need the icing. I don't need the filling. The cake.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'll try some different type of icing. I'll try fillings.
The cake is fine.
That's boring.
Just the cake.
That's boring. It's very boring. I'm very. It's a very strange thing that you have going on.
So I can't lose them all.
No, you can't lose them all. You must.
But I have to hold on to one?
Yes, you have to. It's a must. It's how the game works. I mean, we've only played it for 4 seasons of the podcast. You would think you'd know how it goes by now. But, here we are.
Maybe the lemon raspberry just sounds like too much happening.
I am flabbergasted. I can't believe you didn't say something like that.
Sounds like a lot happening.
I would think that would have been the one you loved. Because you like the lemon raspberry...
Not in the cake.
Yes, when we get the cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory.
Is it lemon raspberry filling?
No, it's like a lemon raspberry cheesecake.
Is it a lemon raspberry filling?
No.
That's what we're talking about fillings.
But I'm just saying the flavors
of the cake.
That's fine.
Not the filling.
Whatever.
I just taste gratiness when you tell me berry in a filling. And I don't want that gratiness. When you said berry,
it doesn't have to be. It can be blended up and mixed together really well
it's
into
never,
a.
It's never mixed well. It's always grainy berries. It's always grainy berries in my cake.
There's always berry skins that you don't like that.
It's like fruit cake. I'm like, why is fruit and cake? No. Why is fruit and cake together? No.
You don't think that's the thing?
Give me cake. Give me fruit.
You don't want them together?
Cake.
You don't want them together?
No.
My grandmother used to make a bomb fruit cake. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I believe you.
Still no for you?
Fruit.
You want your food separate?
Cake. Fruit. Separate.
That's fine.
Keep them apart.
You're a hater, but it's fine. So your lose it is the lemon raspberry?
Yes, it seems like that. I heard berry, it was like new.
Okay.
I almost said cannoli, but I was like,
I think I would go with vanilla custard. I enjoy a vanilla custard. I do. I enjoy custard in general.
You said vanilla custard?
Yes, I did.
You said pineapple, lemon raspberry,
cannoli.
Cannoli. I knew you said lemon custard.
No, vanilla custard. Yes, I think vanilla custard would be my lose it. Just because I feel like I want... I like vanilla custard. I do. It's delicious when made right. But the others just appeal to me a bit more.
Sometimes it is vanilla custard for me too. And it's just because it's just too sweet.
Mm. You do complain of things being too sweet. That is your life struggle. I can't relate. But that's... apparently
just give me fruit. I don't need sweet fruit. It's fruit.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but a little extra razzle dazzle.
Yes, not a whole cake.
But you don't have to eat the whole cake. You can just eat small slices till you finish the cake. It's not like you have to eat the whole cake right there. I'm just saying, there are ways to work with this that you're not considering.
I don't want to.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to elevate your life and get you to be better, but you don't want that. So
anything to do with that.
That's fine. What's your love it? Your options are vanilla custard, pineapple, cannoli. What do you love? In a theoretical world where you actually liked fruits and desserts and cake together. You know, in a theoretical situation. I know this is not binding in real life. This is theory style.
What is the less intense? Who's the least intense one?
I don't know. That's up to you. It's for you to decide.
What kind of vanilla filling is it?
It's custard.
I mean, what kind of pineapple filling is it?
It's like, the jelly type filling. Maybe with some pieces of pineapple in there, possibly. Oh, I get what you.
I know other people like it, so I allow a lot of things.
But you're not into it?
No.
Okay. I did not think that this would be such a debilitating choice for you. I did not. I thought this would be easier. I did not anticipate this level of distress.
What's in the cannoli?
What's in cannoli?
Like, is it that like super sweet thing? It's like, I know what a cannoli is, right? I got it. So it's just a cannoli filling inside of the cake?
Inside of the cake, yes.
Oh, everybody want that.
Yeah, that joint is wild delicious, my guy. Wild delicious.
I might say vanilla.
Okay.
With like a lemon cake. So I'll balance it out.
Okay.
I can't have vanilla. Like,
the vanilla wouldn't be on a vanilla cake. That's just...
No, like, none of these I want with regular cake.
Okay.
Because the vanilla cake would balance out none of these things. It would balance out none of these things. It would just make things worse.
Not worse.
A vanilla cake, lemon cake will help balance out my taste buds.
That's fine. Is that your final answer?
Yes, I think that would balance my taste buds if I have vanilla with like a flavored cake. What's usually in a red velvet? What kind of filling?
It's usually cream cheese.
Yeah, if you said cream cheese, I'm like, okay.
But that's too easy. I gotta spice it up.
I was thinking like, well, it's like the normal stuff that I'm doing.
No,
cool
not
with.
the normal. I had to jazz it up. Put some razzmatazz.
I don't want the razzmatazz.
But that's what I gave. You should, if you didn't want razzmatazz, you should have come with the Love It or Lose It, but you didn't. So here we are.
I want razzmatazz or everything else but cake.
But cake is the place where the razzmatazz happens.
It shouldn't.
But it is.
Cake should just be cake.
No, it shouldn't. It should be jazz and pizzazz. It should be that. I think my Love It is gonna be lemon raspberry. I like fruit tastes with cake.
You're the exact opposite of me.
Yes.
Exact opposite.
I like fruit with cake. I like fruit fillings with cake. I think it's nice, it's refreshing, it's delicious. And I like lemon raspberry as like a combo, like the tartness of the lemon and the raspberry like meet together in the middle for like a slightly sweet, slightly tart situation.
Like, I might consider
delicious.
the pineapple or lemon raspberry if it was like a blend, like a frosting.
Okay.
Like a cream cheese, like that texture of the cream cheese filling.
Mm-hmm.
And that inside there, I might consider it more.
Okay. Than just like fruit.
Just actual fruit inside my cake. I'm like, no.
But I think what you're imagining and what I'm saying aren't the same thing.
What I'm imagining on my tongue?
No, I just think the visual, like you're not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it.
The way, like, let me show you what I mean. Because I think you're thinking I'm just putting a bunch of like fruit.
I've tasted cake
in
before.
Cake. I don't know what you're thinking. I
have tasted cake before.
Like it looks like this. You know what I mean? Like that.
I know.
And you don't. That doesn't throw
see
you.
what I'm doing with that?
Okay, but that's not a good picture.
See how it was Granny?
What more like about this?
I don't need eat a fruit basket while I'm trying to have my cake. I'll eat a fruit basket also.
You see, like it's like this. See?
Yeah, I know what it is, because I'm not.
And that doesn't thrill you? That doesn't appeal to you? You don't want that?
Not a little bit. No.
That looks delightful to me. I want to eat that.
It does not.
I want to eat that.
You can have that.
Very boring. Very blah.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know. You are boring when it comes to the cake.
Yes.
I still love you, but I just expected more.
But I'm not bored with everything else. It's just the cake.
I know. I feel like
any other food, I'll be like, mix, let's go. Nah, yeah.
Like things that I don't think should mix, but you'd be like, let's mix it.
The cake, no.
And cake is where I think things should mix. Cake is the perfect place for mixing, in my opinion.
It is not.
And we've been married for almost 7 years, together for 11, and I never knew that this fundamental difference existed between the two of us. I never knew this. So that's why people say, marriage is an adventure, because you learn something new every day. I did not know that you felt this way about food mixing, like you drew the line at cake. I did not know that. I did not know that.
Because like how my personality is lined up with food, it's kind of like if you want something, like if you notice, ever since we've been together, if you want to go somewhere, we'll go somewhere. If you want to eat something, we'll eat something. I don't usually, like once in a while, I'll go with my preference, and most times I'm like, because I always know that you're more picky than I am.
This is true.
Because I always know you're more picky, I'm like, all right, where are you gonna go? I always do that because I'm like, I'm cool with anything, and even if I'm kind of like mad about it, I'll still like entertain it. And with the cakes, I'm always like, I'll take a small. I'm always like, give me a small piece. I'll entertain it. I won't be disrespectful, but I'm not interested.
Because even yesterday, I bought like a whole slice of cake for you to eat. You were like, nah, Big Mac.
I'm like, I'll take a piece. I
was like, I ended up giving away his slice because he didn't even want it.
I didn't say anything.
But did you?
I just wasn't in the mood for cake. They're the only one. I don't know.
But it's fine.
Red velvet cake is good. It's just, it's a lot.
I disagree. It's
like I had 2 bites and I was like, I think I'm good.
It's very rich.
I'm good for the week.
Not the week. Like I've met my dessert quota for the week. Thank you so much.
Had enough richness for the week. I am good.
You're missing out, my guy.
I'll keep missing out.
That's fine. I feel like that's also part of why I don't really bake desserts anymore, because I'm like, I'm not baking a bunch of stuff for me to sit up and eat.
Some stuff, like I'll do a cupcake.
You will.
It's quick.
Yeah, but like a whole cake, like a whole cheesecake, I'm not.
But don't do it just for me.
But I don't want to eat it by myself.
Yeah, every cooking cupcakes you can cook.
Sure, we'll work that out. We'll figure it out.
So you can cook it.
I need somebody to eat it, because I'm just gonna keep looking at it, and then
But your cakes are good though. That's the thing though. I usually eat your cakes.
I know you do, but I feel like the cake be lasting for a long time, because you're not much of a dessert eater to begin with. So it's like the cake just be looking at me. I'm looking at the cake. Cake's looking at me. I eat the cake.
The thing is,
I
eat a lot of your cake.
You do. You do.
I just eat it in small pieces.
Yes. You eat it slowly. Like, eat the cake faster, eat the cake faster, because then it's going to make me feel like I have to eat the cake and not smoke for anybody. So yeah, but maybe I will make a cake before the summer's over.
You used to have a house cake at 3 Castles.
Yeah. I haven't made any house cakes here. The audacity of me. I'll make a house cake.
We need to have more visitors probably, so we have a house cake in the center of the table.
Yeah. House cake at the center of the table. House cake. Sidebar, these flowers that you picked are really nice. I like them.
Did you take out the baby's breath?
You took it out?
Did you take it out?
Nah, they still in there. Mark has a problem with baby's breath. Not really sure why.
Because they're trash.
They're great.
They're trash. Not actually baby breath.
The flower. Mark doesn't like the flower.
Because they're tacky.
I disagree.
Okay.
They're a nice filler, and they add... Have you ever seen a baby's breath bouquet before? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I've seen baby's breath bouquets before, and it's gorgeous.
You ever had a set of flowers, right? You was like, I want to be more tacky. More tacky. I want this tacky fella.
I just feel like you haven't had the right baby's breath set up for you, so you've just...
They've all been trash.
You've just associated
would you like
it
some
with
of
tacky.
this tacky white flowers to be inside your bouquet?
No, it's not tacky. I think it's very nice. It adds a...
The florist is like, don't you want some of this tack?
No,
In your flower bouquet?
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. You hate it.
Because I can't think of any other flowers to put in this flower bouquet, so I'll just add some tack.
It's not tacky. It's a nice Light, airy filler. Okay?
When you say airy, you mean like should be invisible?
No. It doesn't weigh down your arrangement.
Yes, it is.
It does not. Your hair.
It weighs it down to the bottom.
No, it doesn't. Your hair. When we do our vow renewal, it's baby's breath everywhere, my guy. It's going down.
I won't be there.
You won't be there? You gonna leave the whole setup off of a baby's breath?
Who you renewing the vows with?
You, sir. You.
Renewing your vows
to you, Mark. Because who else am I married to?
Now it's baby breath, huh?
Mark will come downstairs and see the baby's breath and be like, well, this isn't the function I'm supposed to be at. Because clearly.
Renew your friendship with your friends.
Renew my friendship with my friends. You're rude. You're rude. And just for that, I'm going to make sure there's a big sprig of baby's breath in your boutonniere. Big sprig.
You have a fire pit.
Not a fire pit. I'm tired of you. You get on my nerves. I don't know why you behave this way. Let's get into our topic for today.
I didn't know you wanted the bonfire. Alright, that was
I'm sick of you.
Or lose it.
Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey, love it.
Or lose it.
Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah. So, I was just looking at the time real quick. I was like, did I say 56? I'm like, we have not been in here almost an hour. It's crazy. So this week we wanted to talk about, what do we want to talk about? Dating and timelines. Because we were listening to another podcast earlier this week, and they were talking about how men and women have different timelines when it comes to dating and relationships. And one of the podcast co-hosts was saying that they feel like women have like these like 3 to 5 year timelines in which they expect, and you can correct me if I'm saying it wrong because I might be, where they expect certain things to like happen within that point in time, and if they feel like things haven't happened in that point in time, then they pretty much are like, well, I'm leaving the relationship because the timeline that I had in mind, XYZ, hasn't happened.
Well,
and like I said, I may be explaining it wrong, so clarify.
What you're saying, I guess, you're saying kind of right. So, like, basically, my belief, and based off of what I'm having a conversation, is like, many times women will start a relationship, and I think this kind of plays into why women always trying to figure out what are we, because once we've established that now we're in a relationship, many times in their mind they're like, all right.
The countdown begins? The
countdown in your head of like, all right, I hopefully in 3 to 5 years we'll be ready to get married if this goes well. If it goes well, we'll be ready to get married in 3 to 5 years. Right? And that's kind of like this mindset of it. And I realize that like that goes in. I know that like people say like, oh, that's and if you say like, oh yeah, well, women are over 30, they feel that way. But women who are like 22, 23, after graduating college feel the same way. They're like, all right, I've been with it 20. I just started. It seems like it's getting pretty serious. I've been with them for about 2, almost 3 years. Hopefully, within the next 2 years, he's gonna propose. Because in our mind, we've been together for so long. We see each other all the time with relationship. We talk like. We've met each other's family. Like, it's just, I feel that this time frame makes sense. Right? And a lot of men that I've spoken to, and a lot of men, like, based off of conversations that I've heard and stuff like that, men don't approach it that way. The men don't just look at somebody like, oh, 3 to 5 years is not really how it goes. It's really just based off the person, specifically. So, many times, like a guy doesn't start a countdown when they start talking to somebody. It's just when they feel like, oh, it's time to get married. So like a lot of times they don't start a countdown in their mind of when we're going to get married. We're just trying to figure out, are we cool? Like every day, it's kind of like every week or every day or every month. We're kind of like, all right, where are we? Are we a strong relationship? Where we are, like you were saying, it's kind of a different conversation. We kind of take the relationship week by week, month by month.
Right.
And everything. And that doesn't mean that we don't eventually want to marry somebody. But it's just we take it every week by week. And like, it's weird because like I feel as if many times like there might be some things that like the woman does, or something that they do that you'll do together, or ways that people react. Like he's kind of like, this doesn't feel right for marriage yet. Hope we might get there later, but right now it doesn't feel like marriage yet, right? And like it's in his mind because in his mind he's like, you're experiencing it too. So obviously, like if we're arguing all the time, right? And we argue very often. In his mind, he's like, obviously, it's not time to get married because we're still arguing about stuff right now and everything. But because
he thinks that that the woman feels the same way.
Yes, because like we've been arguing all the time. We're having these big or just because. And like in 2 years, you've had a big argument, and like had like around 2 year mark, and you're like, he's like, okay, so like, I'm not really thinking about marriage right now, so like, we're not thinking about it. Let's try, like wait till I feel comfortable about this before we even think about it, and then like a few months later, like the person told me like, oh, we're talking about marriage. He's like, in his mind, he's like, yo, we didn't resolve this issue we have, so we didn't resolve the issues we have,
right?
And like so. Like, I think that happens a lot more than people think it does. But what happens is a lot of guys don't express that. A lot of guys don't express, this is why it's that way. It's just kind of like, because he's like, obviously everything's not cool. And everything. And it's weird, because it's kind of like, because you want to, it's not like you don't want to be with the person. It's just like this is something that's just not being resolved.
Okay.
And everything, and like it's I've this is something that will happen. A woman will like they'll be talking. It'll be about 2 or 3 years talking.
Talk.
Like have in a relationship.
Clarify.
2 years in a relationship, and they might have had a conversation about. Like she's like, I want to get married within like the first 5 years. Might have had that conversation, and his mind at that time he was like, it's cool. After that conversation happened, there's been arguments, and he's like, oh, obviously it's on pause because we still argue about this thing,
right? And
then like a year and a half later, when it gets to the 5 year mark, she's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, yo, we were arguing this whole time,
right?
Why would you assume,
right?
That we're still in the 5 year trajectory, if we didn't resolve, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel as if many guys we take, like this is a blanket statement, but a lot of us we take because we put such a emphasis on what marriage is, meaning like we're kind of like this is one and done. We don't want to do this ever again. We're kind of like, all right. After it's done, so it's like I want to make sure it's cool before we get into it. So it's like it's not. I understand the time where it's like we gotta make sure it's cool first. And like I think that's where the conflict is sometimes. Like I don't know if I don't think that's expressed that well.
Yes.
Because like I don't know if it's expressed that well because a lot of times guys don't know that about themselves. It's just like they're like, nah, but I don't think we're cool yet. But like a lot of times they'll like. Go through with it out of desperation because like I want to be with you, but like let's resolve this because if it can't be resolved, I don't want to be with you anymore. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess I kind of understand if you're looking at it from the I only want to do this one time kind of thing. You want to make sure that when you jump out the window, that you're jumping out the window with the right person for the right reasons, and because you feel like it's going to live up to your one and done. Like agenda. I think that so I guess I have a question for you before I kind of give my opinion or thoughts like on the female side of things. Why do you think that men kind of place the arguments or the whatever being unresolved at such a high place, I guess, that it kind of like pauses the clock or restarts the clock or whatever the case is when it comes to progression towards marriage / more permanency in the relationship? Like, what is it about the art? Because people argue, like, that's just it's just an interpersonal thing. We're not always going to agree.
It's not the
argument on every
it's
single
the
thing.
Content argument and how the person treats them. It's a content of the argument.
Okay.
And like from there, so it's like,
because I'm like, people have arguments every day. So it's like, is it like, oh, we have an argument about what groceries to get today, and so now that's like pushing things. But like, what are we talking about?
So like, let's say it's about groceries, but like, let's say we realize that like every little thing that comes up, we tend to argue about little small things. Mm-hmm. So in your mind, like, yo, first thing, does she even like me? Because guys have that thought in their mind a lot, by the way. Does she even like me? Well,
she's with you, obviously.
You keep putting that part. That's how
I'm like, she agreed to date you.
Like, she like, what, does she respect me at all?
That part is debatable.
Yeah. So in your mind, it's like she's acting like she doesn't either like me or doesn't respect me. So in her mind, like she knows that we have to like figure this out first. Mm-hmm. Like, why are we getting married if you don't even respect me?
And so,
but like I said, because if you notice, a lot of guys, we have these conversations in our mind with a lot of things, mm-hmm. right? A lot of times, like we should express more. This is that's confirmed,
right?
That's not what I'm debating right now. Mm-hmm. We should express more, but a lot of times in our mind, we're kind of like, this is like in a weird place, like everything's not resolved, and if we get married, it's just going to make this more extensive. Mm-hmm. Right? Because like we've seen other people who were married before, mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, so I'm just going to be not respecting this whole marriage. Like, why would I? Like, we don't even really like. It seems like we don't like. You have an issue with me about something I'm doing. Mm. So why would we get married?
Okay.
Everything. Once again, this is not like a term. Of course, sometimes guys, they'll propose to get out of a bad situation, or they get just to like resolve some nonsense they've done. Like, that does happen, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, this is like many times where the hesitation comes in with marriage. That's more of a bigger thing that might happen outside of the I'm not where I am financially. It's more than that.
Okay, you would say that's a bigger issue than the other. I'm not ready financially. I'm not ready.
But it's just like they might even say I'm not ready financially, but it's really that.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's why, like, when they say like a guy is not ready to get married, he's not get ready to marry you. It's not as much as like he's ready to marry somebody else, as much as there's something that he feels is like is off, is not where he feels like marriage should be. Because like every person has a different view of like how a wife should be, mm-hmm. How marriage should be, and like if he doesn't feel as if like whatever how you'll interact, whatever it is not fitting into that, mm-hmm. he's like, it's not really fitting into this
right.
this thing that I believe it should be at, mm-hmm. and everything, and like he probably hadn't took time to figure out what that means, mm-hmm. and that's kind of like, and he's kind of like, I enjoy being with you,
right,
and everything, but it's just something that's like,
it's not aligning with my,
and there's like little holes mm-hmm. that we see, mm-hmm. And like if these holes stay there, I'm just gonna be miserable. Not miserable, but I'm gonna be annoyed in marriage mm-hmm. more mm-hmm. because it's not gonna stop.
Right.
Because it's not like if we're dating, we wake up, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can just not deal with this anymore. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to be stuck dealing with this. Mm-hmm.
But then
and then you have kids, and like it just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's just.
It's funny that you bring that up, because here's my sort of question. So if you know this as the guy, that there's something about the dynamic of the person you're with that does not necessarily align with your view or your vision of what being in a marriage looks like, A, why don't you just end it if you really feel that way? And B, why do you have kids with the person while still having these reservations about marriage? Because in my mind, kids is way more permanent than any marriage. So it's like, I be confused when I see guys say that type of thing, but will have 1, maybe 2 kids.
People believe, many guys feel like they can change women.
Okay.
Even though that's not really what's expressed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Many guys believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that. And they believe that because sometimes the spouse that they're talking to or someone who they talk to may have modified what they were doing while talking to them. Mm-hmm. But they will eventually go back. Mm-hmm. But like because they've modified it and to show that like, oh, I'm doing this and everything, but they've really changed with the core they are. They're like, oh yeah, I've changed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So because so like a lot of times many guys feel like they can change a woman to something better. So like they're kind of like that's where like the patronizing man comes from a lot of times. Is like they're like I've seen it in a cringe a lot of times when like it seems like the man relationship is kind of like talking down to the woman or like saying like, oh, you must not know this, like kind of like that's him like, oh, I'm trying to teach you about this to make you you know what I'm saying? But like because they're grown adults, it's like they're ready to go back. So he's like, oh, okay, this is not, and it's not going as fast as he wants. But because it's not there yet, is why he's not married. Like, oh, I'm gonna wait till he gets there because I like a lot of. It's like everybody else's relationship. I like everything else about them, but this is the one thing. But I don't want to do anything till this gets changed first.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, so they're staying because they want to do that. And what's the second question? Okay.
Like. Because they feel like these things need to be changed or worked on, they don't want to proceed towards marriage, but will have kids with the person.
It's because people like sex. that is the end of it. Guys are stupid and they like sex.
But it's been great, y'all. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
They like sex, so they do something like, I see what I did there. I see what happened. I see.
Like it doesn't make any sense though.
I get what you're saying.
It doesn't make any sense. If you think that there is such a disconnect or a chip in the armor of the relationship you have with a person that you're hesitant about marriage, you should absolutely be hesitant about having a child with them as well. Because that child is going to connect the two of you forever. Forever. You should be hesitant about that. I'm just saying.
Many guys foolishly believe that if a woman does, like, number one, if something happens and there is a situation where they accidentally complete inside the person.
Accidentally?
What?
We're going to accidentally.
What?
Go ahead.
Without condom. That the person is going to do a plan B. A lot of guys on IQ believe that women, like, a lot of guys will go and pay for it themselves. Just like, just do this. Right? Or that they find out later on that the woman's going to get an abortion. Because in his mind, he's like, no, we're not that cool, so you can get an abortion, right? You're not going to put this on me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how a lot of guys feel. A lot of guys feel as if, like, we not cool.
You're cool enough to have sex.
I get it. And that's why I said a lot of guys like to have sex, and that's where they mess up. So like, we're not that cool, so like, you don't want to be connected to me. You get what I'm saying? So like, you'll work hard to not have this child with me as much as I would.
No.
I hear what you're saying.
That's almost never how it goes.
No. Many times, like, there's daycares to prove that. there's babies everywhere to prove that. That's not how it goes. We understand that.
Like, what? No, that's not how it goes.
I got it.
It's not how it goes at all.
Yeah, like, and a lot of guys just like, well, like, a lot of guys when they find out that the girl is pregnant, like, most of them are kind of like, they can't really be like, what you gonna do? Because he looks great. Sounds crazy.
Yeah, so, especially if y'all are in a relationship.
Yeah.
Y'all, this isn't just a hookup thing. Like, y'all have been in a relationship. So you can't hit the lady with, so what you gonna do? Because you consented to have unprotected sex, and here we are.
Yeah, you can't what you gonna do. So now you kind of like, all right. So like, they kind of like, all right, it's gotta figure it out. We gotta work it out. What do you do?
The ghetto.
Which is why I always, like, if you're having questions about relationship, stop having sex with the person. It's happened. I've seen it happen so many times, where someone's like I've heard it from guys and women who's like, I don't know anymore. I don't know about this person. At that point, you should probably stop having sex with that person, especially unprotected.
Yes,
just
agreed.
Stop having sex with that person.
Yeah, just go on a sexual fast.
Because that has happened way too many times.
Nah. There's mad kids out here in this world right now who are the product of my parents probably should have stopped having sex, but they kept going, and voila.
Yeah. Like they were like, I'm not really sure about this person anymore. I don't know if I want to be with them anymore. Oh, I'm pregnant.
It's like, well, I guess that adds a layer to
if you're not sure about the relationship,
conversation.
Stop having sex with them.
Yeah, just take a moment. It never leads to anything positive, in my opinion. So, excuse me, what's that? Ooh. To bring the female side of this to the conversation, for me, I understand the 3 to 5 year timeline thing, because as women, especially if you want to have children, there's a limited frame of time where that can happen for you. Like, technically as a woman, your prime childbearing years are like from 14 to 35. But at 14, what are we doing? We're in school. We're in high school. Okay? So we go to high school. And then, especially if you're black, or West Indian, or African, all of them things. I can't speak for other people. I can just speak to the populations I'm familiar with. Your family is very much, don't bring no babies in this house. You better go to school and get your education, blah, 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 blah. So 14 to 18, you're doing high school. If you come from a family like mine, there's an expectation that you're going to go to college. So you go to college 18 to 22. Okay. You go find a job, you start your career. Maybe you go to law school or grad school or do something after that. So more likely than not, you're not going to be finished with your education till about 25-ish. Then you start working, start paying back them student loans. So you probably won't feel like you've kind of got it together and are ready enough to settle down to be with somebody and potentially get married until you're closer to 30. According to the medical professionals, you got a window of 5 years to get some kids in there before your eggs start being considered geriatric. So it's like, there is like a biological, physical time clock that women have if they want to have children, in addition to the social pressure of like, when you gonna have kids, when you getting married. And this is coming from strangers, it's coming from your family, it's coming from everywhere. So there's this like intense pressure that you feel as a woman to find a husband, get married, have kids. Like there's whole think pieces and articles and books and all these things about why women aren't getting married, why women are putting off having kids. Like there's a whole like sector of like study in the world connected to just that. And so while I understand the points you made from the man's point of view, it's like, from the woman's point of view, it's not that we're trying to force somebody to marry us or rush someone into marriage for the sake and kids for the sake of rushing someone into marriage and kids. It's like, we literally have a limited amount of time in which this can happen healthily, for lack of a better word. I don't know if that's a word. And so it's just kind of like 3 to 5 years is a large chunk of time in a very limited chunk of time that I already have. So if I feel like in 3 to 5 years the relationship isn't progressing beyond just dating, then what are we doing? Like what is this? And it's not to say.
I think I agree, and I fully understand. I guess
because to your point, I feel like if we're arguing for 3 years, then someone should break up. If the majority of our 3-year relationship has been arguing, and it hasn't been arguing about little things, but it's been arguing about like stuff that makes us realize that fundamentally we aren't compatible for whatever reason, we should just end it. Like, somebody should just be adult enough to do that.
But the reality is, in relationships, when you're with somebody all the time, you see a lot of the arguments, you see a lot of the negative, but you also see a lot of the positive.
Yes.
Right? And you see a lot of the good things happening. So in your mind, you're like, all right, they have a lot of these good qualities that I like also. Mm-hmm. And like you're kind of like, all right, I have these good qualities, and these other qualities that are bothering me. Mm-hmm. Once again, people feel as if like we can they'll figure out that if they change these qualities, mm-hmm. it'll make it better for both of us.
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna fight to, we're like hopefully at one point we'll resolve this issue. Because it's like a lot of times like we like a lot of things about the person we're with. Mm-hmm. So it's like we like a lot. So it's like. And it's comfort and everything like that. Yeah. But it's just a lot of factors of why people stay in relationships for longer than they should.
Agreed.
It's just a lot of things. So yeah. Like and that's on both men and women.
Agreed. It's
just like, yeah, she's annoying, but she does this and this and this, and she does all stuff. So like these are some good things that she does. So mm-hmm. like maybe if we can kind of like. People will put in work of trying to change somebody for years. Like that like it will be like a work of like, and people feel like they're chipping away. Mm-hmm. Like that is the mindset. It's like, all right, I'm chipping this away. Mm-hmm. I'm chipping, like that's how people feel about mm-hmm. it. Like they're creating a project mm-hmm. and everything. And like people do that all the time. Mm-hmm. And like it's and like. And the reality is, you might be chipping some things away, mm-hmm. but like this elaborate thing of like who this ideal thing you want them to change to, I don't think they'll ever get there.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're still
yes, and they're still themselves with their own experiences
yeah.
and
yeah.
feelings or whatever.
Like I understand, some people do like gradually change their habits in certain things mm-hmm. because they care about the person.
Right.
So like it's not foreign to feel that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything, but it's like you also have to be comfortable who the person is right now, and, mm-hmm. and like that's why I've always told people, are you okay with them not changing how they are right now? Mm-hmm. If you're okay with that, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. But you have to be okay with also them. They're not. They do change, great. Mm-hmm. But you have to be okay with them never changing.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And I'm glad that you said that about the chipping away, because it's like, I think the thing that people have to realize is that people aren't projects, and people have to stop making their partners projects. Like we did a podcast a few months back. We were guests on a podcast where we were talking about, kind of being Bob the Builder to your partner. Like that's not your job. Your job is to be supportive. Your job is to encourage. Your job is to be there for your partner, but it's not to build them into something. You're not supposed to be spending your time in a relationship molding and building a person to be your ideal partner. Like that's not how it works. Like, should you encourage each other to be better and to do better and to, elevate? Sure. But like, I think a lot of the issue and the disappointments come, especially like in the example we were talking about in the car, where it's like a guy will be, building himself up and getting himself together for X amount of years, and then when he finally gets on, as Kanye says, he like leaves that person who was with him that whole time for someone else. And the bottom line of it is, a lot of times we spend time in a relationship not even really loving the person, but like trying to build them into someone that we can really love, And then when they finally get to that place that we've built them, they can't, in their head, they can't see you as someone who genuinely like respects and admires them, because all they thinking about is, you saw me when I was like down here. Now that I'm up here, it doesn't matter, because you're never going to see me as up here. You're always going to remember that down here person. And so that's why you see like people will just be in a long-term relationship where the other party did all this building and blah 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 blah, and then they leave and move on to someone else, because that other person now sees them at this point in the way that they really are. The person that was there doing the Bob the Builder work with them, they just like, they don't feel comfortable with the way that person looks at them anymore. Even if that person is genuinely like supportive and happy for them, in their head they feel like all the person can see is what they used to be and not what they are now. And so it's like you have to be careful with that building a person thing, because you can do that, but run the risk of knowing that you may not get a reward from it. Like you may just have helped build that person and that was it, but like you may not get a reward from it, and you may find that you did it all for someone else's benefit. Somebody else is getting the reward, it just ain't you. And do so at your own peril. Like I said, I'm not saying leave your person to the wolves, don't help them with nothing, don't encourage them, don't pray for them, don't do anything. I'm not saying that, but don't spend so much time trying to build someone into what you want that you miss out on the potential that there is someone out there that is already what you want, that you don't have to build.
Yeah, like don't try to build your ideal person.
Yeah.
You have to be appreciative. You have to be able to be appreciative of who the person is and what they can bring to the table themselves.
Right.
If you cannot do that, then you should move on.
Right, because
number one, you should find somebody who you will appreciate more.
Right.
And number two, they should find somebody who appreciates you from who
exactly.
they are.
Exactly.
Both sides.
Because if people can tell if the difference between genuine trying to help and support me versus trying to turn me into someone else. People can tell that, and it's like, if you're giving, I'm trying to turn you into someone else, therein lie the feelings of, this person doesn't respect me, this person doesn't think very much of me, etc., and that leads you to the eventual breakup where you're big mad because you felt like, I was there for him and I did this and I did that, and it's like, well, you were trying to reconstruct them, but whatever. But yeah, I feel like there's nothing wrong with having timelines, and there's nothing wrong with communicating what your expectations are. Because I mean, when I met Mark, I kind of communicated, like, once we decided like this was a relationship, this was a thing, I kind of communicated what my expectations and what my timeline was, because I'm like, I just had been with somebody for 4 years. I wasn't about to spend another 4 to go nowhere. Like, it wasn't that, and I don't think I necessarily was on like the necessarily even marriage, or not like I didn't want to get married, but it wasn't even so much that for me as of the wanting to get married, wanting to have kids. It was just like, I don't want to spend 4 years of my time with somebody who's just going to waste it, when I could have been doing something else, and not necessarily even dating somebody else, but focusing my energy on other things. Like, it was more about preserving my energy for me than anything else. And so I feel like you should communicate that. If that's something that's on your like agenda, on your mind or whatever, that is something you should definitely communicate. But I also feel on the other end, for guys, like, if you're feeling like there's certain things that are happening in this relationship with the communication, with the arguments, with the whatever, that aren't making me feel comfortable with the idea of moving this relationship beyond just dating to engagement and marriage, it's like, you got to communicate what those things are. Yeah. Because just saying, I'm not ready, I got a lot going on, like, what does that mean? Yeah. Because your partner might not realize that you see these arguments as a bigger area of concern than they do. Because there are a lot of people who have the mindset of, in relationships, people argue. So they feel like arguments are a normal part of relationship dynamics, like constant argument. Like I used to think that, like arguing a lot is a normal part of a relationship. Like that's just what I thought. I have since learned that arguments do happen, but it doesn't have to be like on a super constant basis. Like there can be mad space between arguments, but I used to think that, you just, that couples argue, like that's just what they do. That's what I don't know, that was in my head, that couples argue. And so it's like, if you're feeling like, yo, these arguments make me feel iffy about the future of this relationship, blah, 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 but the other person is like, oh, we argue, but like we love each other, like it's cool, like we just argue sometimes, like it's clear that the understanding about what's going on isn't there. So if you, as the guy, say, you know what, I don't, like, you break up because I don't feel like I'm ready for marriage, and then you turn around and be like engaged to somebody within a year, the person who you just broke up with is going to be like, well, wait a minute, I thought he wasn't ready for marriage. It's like, no, what really needed to be said was, this dynamic does not make me feel comfortable with moving forward towards marriage.
Yeah, but like,
how can we fix that?
But like that goes with previous conversations about effective communication.
Yeah,
and being in touch with like how you feel. Like it's a lot of things that play into that of what happens. I'm more like this. What I'm kind of express is like the feelings that are happening, but how that's expressed is always wrong. That's why it's always confusing.
Yeah,
like a lot of people don't know how to communicate. A lot of people don't know how to express their feelings. A lot of people. Some people feel like they can't express their feelings in a relationship. Yeah. That's a very common thing. A lot of men feel like they can't express their feelings in a relationship.
That's fair.
Which can be right or wrong.
Right.
It can be like right that like if they say something, it'll be create another argument, or it can be wrong, like it could be fine, but in their mind, the way that they feel is that it's going to create another argument.
Right. Yeah. That's fair. But I think, the communication piece is super important, because it's like, if I'm dating somebody and I'm thinking, we're moving forward, we're making progress, we're moving in together, we're doing this, we're doing that, but then you're hitting me like at the 5-6 years, like, oh, I don't know if I want to get married. It's like, well, what do you mean? Like, we've been together all this time. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not ready? And if you're not able to articulate that, what the problem is, so we can actually do something about it, like, it just creates unnecessary, like, bitterness, resentment. Like, it just creates additional negativity that doesn't need to be there had effective communication, like, existed, so that both parties could either A, decide to work on it, or B, say, maybe we fundamentally don't match, we should go our separate ways. But it's like we were talking about earlier, we're bringing kids into the situation, that just complicates things, because it's like, now there's a kid in the situation, so, a lot of people, are like, I don't want to raise my kid in a broken home, so now, like, they try to make it work, they try to stay together, but it's like, you just piling more issues on top of, like, what's already there, and it's just, it just sucks all the way around. It just makes things more complicated and more painful, than they would have been, so, just communication, man. I feel like communication is like the solution for like everything. So just communicate. Just communicate. Be upfront. Be honest. Like, I'm not saying go in being harsh and not caring about feelings and all that, but like, if everybody communicates their expectations and communicates when their expectations aren't being met and why they're not being met and how can they be met, like, I think that could make a huge difference in the dynamics of like dating and relationships in general. But obviously humans have been doing a trash job at this for some time now, so
Word.
And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. I appreciate you joining in on this song. So yeah.
Double one.
Yes.
It's 4.
Yeah,
well, we actually might not have been. We started talking for like not long before they even did it.
Yeah.
Before the actual icebreakers. Maybe we didn't talk.
No, but I still wanna
move on.
Yeah. So thanks so much for like listening and giving us your comments and stuff like that regarding this topic here. I'm sure there are plenty of things that we didn't touch on, or other elements or perspectives that we didn't consider. So please feel free, hit us on the social media at our email, alllovenopcast alllovenofearpcast at gmail.com, alllovenofearp1 on Twitter, to let us know what your thoughts are on this here topic. Let us now move on to our Artist Spotlight. Our Artist Spotlight segment, where we play some music from some people that we like, honey.
Except on YouTube.
Except on YouTube, because they don't want us to be great over there. So, this week's Artist Spotlight is a young lady by the name of Evie McKinney. She is from Memphis, Tennessee. She's a gospel singer, gospel / soul / pop singer, I guess is the better way to describe her. She was on The Four and actually won the first season of The Four back in 2018. She signed a deal with Motown Gospel and Capitol, and she's been putting out music and things since then. She put out an EP this year, and she's been working it and doing all of that. The EP is called, let me pull it up real quick because I don't want to be no whole entire liar. It's on the Tidals and the Spotifys and all those places where people play music. But yeah, she put the EP out this year, and it's called, let me not be no liar, This is Evie McKinney, and it's got 6 tracks on it. And the song we're going to play today is one of the songs on that EP. It's called Do It Again. I like her voice. It's just, it's very unique. It's got like a twang to it. I don't know if it's a Memphis, Tennessee thing or what, but it's like, I like it. It's real smooth and soulful, and just, she sounds like she's giving it her all, but she's not like doing too much and trying too hard and straining her voice. So let's get into Evie McKinney, Do It Again.
This is Evie McKinney. I'll just fix it next time.
Are we moving on to the next segment?
Yeah, I'll just put it in.
Yeah, so that was Evie McKinney.
Wait, it's not yet.
Do It Again.
It's not yet.
I'm sorry. So yes, that was Evie McKinney. Do It Again.
Word.
Yes, get into her music, get in her EP. She also did an episode on the Terrell Grice show that I talk about here all the time. And she's great. Her episode is really funny. She's very southern. Like I realized the very southern girls have like I like their personalities. They're cute. She's super cute. I think y'all will like her music or whatever. Yes. Up next is This Week in Random. Yeah, so what all had happened? Not much, but a lot at the same time. So, our 44th president, Barack Hussein Obama, turned 60 over this past week. And shout out to him, happy birthday. And apparently he was supposed to throw like a birthday party in Martha's Vineyard And there's supposed to be like 600 people in attendance, but like people was like, yo, like it's a pandemic outside, Mr. Sir, so perhaps you shouldn't throw the function for the 600 people. And I suppose he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just keep it to close family and friends because, you know, it's a pandemic. They got variants outside. It's crazy. And apparently a video that has since been deleted that was posted by, I believe, Erykah Badu, because she was at the function, was a video of him dancing without a mask on. And then, you know, I got on Twitter this morning, and apparently maskless Obama is a trending topic on Twitter. And people are like, what kind of example is he setting? He's telling people to go out and get the vaccine, and he's not putting on one himself. He's at this party with all these people, and he's not wearing a mask. What kind of example? Let me explain something to y'all. As I just said, President Barack Obama is celebrating his 60th birthday. You know what 60 means? Full adult. Grown man. Big grown up, okay? If that man wants to be at his function not wearing a mask, that is that man's business. You know why? Do you want to know why? Because he's a grown adult, and I don't never have no business with what that grown adult is doing at his function. Because I ain't never going to be over there. I'm never going to run into Barack Obama nowhere to where I'm going to be concerned about, oh, he wasn't wearing a mask at that function 2 months ago, so he might have the vid. I don't know what protocols and procedures them people have followed over there over at the Martha's Vineyard. That's not my business. Do you understand me? He got the vaccine. And I'm not saying just because you vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask and do whatever you have to do, but that is that man's business. What does him not wearing a mask at a function he's having at his house have to do with you as an individual not at his house? What does that have to do with you? Please help me understand. If he was out at an airport or a supermarket or some other public place not wearing a mask, sure, I understand the outrage. But how many of us are wearing masks at our home? None of us. Not one person inside their house at this moment is wearing a mask. Nobody's doing that because your house is your safe place, okay? You don't wear masks at your home, okay? And again, we're all adults here. What does Barack Obama have not wearing a mask at his house have to do with you wearing a mask when you have to go on the bus, on the train, to a museum, to wherever? What that got to do with you? Nothing. 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 He at his house not wearing a mask. Grand opening, grand closing. That's that man's business. If they spread some COVID over there, that's them people's business, okay? Because I'm not going to the vineyard. I'm not going by Barack and Michelle's house. It's whatever, okay? But this whole maskless Obama thing, y'all taking me away. He's an adult man. He can do whatever he wants. Speaking of adult men who seem to be committed to doing whatever they want, Orenthal James Simpson got on the internet the other day and said he doesn't feel safe in Los Angeles. He's unsure of how to move in Los Angeles because he doesn't know at any point if he could potentially be sitting next to the killer of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. OJ, you need to stop playing in our damn face, okay? You the killer, okay? Just stop. Stop playing in our face.
People always go too far.
Like, OJ, you wrote a whole If I Did It book, and then you want to hit me with a, well, I don't know, I might could be sitting on the, I don't know what the LA public transportation is, but I could be sitting at the LA public transportation next to my ex-wife's potential killer. You're going to stop playing in my face, Mr. Orenthal. I don't have time for this, okay? Just shut up, okay? You 70-something. I think you killed them people and you got away with it. Why you keep coming in our face talking about, I don't know, killer could still be out there. You, Mr. Orenthal? You sitting next to him, or you is him, Mr. Orenthal? Which one is it?
I think the killer's sitting in your seat.
He's sitting in your seat. The killer is you, Mr. Sir. It's you. It's you. I'm like, when I saw that article, I was like, this has to be a joke. This has to be. But it's not. OJ still think the killer. I think OJ really believes he's not the killer, though. I think he really, in his mind, has convinced himself that somebody else has done this and it's not him. And I don't have any time for it. Okay? See, when the rapture come and we go to heaven, that's the tea I'm trying to get to. Did OJ do it or not? That's what I want to know. That's my first question. Did OJ do it or not? That's my first question. I think my second question is, did Tupac and Biggie really die? That's my second question. But my first question, did OJ actually do it? What? What, Mark? have important questions. You just hating because your questions. You didn't think about your questions yet.
Oh.
That's fine. Moving on. So, Governor Cuomo, the New York State governor, it appears that they have done some investigations regarding the sexual harassment claims, and the people say he is in fact a sexual harasser. I don't think any of us didn't think that, but apparently it's been confirmed. Senor Cuomo is a sexual harasser, and he seems to be acting like he didn't hear nothing about no sexual. He's like, listen, I didn't sexually harass nobody. I got a job to do. Move on. I'm like, Andrew, but the people said they didn't investigate. Like, I need you to just possibly potentially care a little bit about what they're talking about. He's like, listen, my state still got COVID. I'm still trying to get vaccines to people. Stop talking to me about the sexual harassment. And I'm just like, but see, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. And he crafted a response that apparently the people who like fund the Me Too or Time's Up movement are a part of in some way. So it's some mixiness behind the scenes with the response he put out. But it's gotten to the point where even President Biden has been like, you should resign. And there are rumors that, you know, legislators and lawmakers and stuff like that upstate and around the state are potentially petitioning to get the ball rolling to get Andrew Cuomo out of the governor's office. We'll see how that happens. But the fact that he keeps kind of giving the, listen, y'all can talk about what y'all want to talk about. I got a state to run energy. I don't really know if y'all want to get him out of there. I mean, it's not. Go with God, y'all. It's not my business. So the Olympics has come to a close, and I just want to say that black girls won the Olympics. The black girls specifically won the Olympics. I think the U.S. came out with the most medals, most of them on the backs of black people, like everything else that happens here. But yeah, the black girls won the Olympics. The 4x4 relay, the U.S. men won and the U.S. women won as well. And Allison Felix is now officially the most decorated track and field female athlete. I think American female athlete. She has 11 Olympic medals, and I think this is her last Olympics. I think she's retiring from running because she's 35, which is old for track and field. I mean, she's still in better shape than I'm sure pretty much every 35-year-old I know, but you know, for track and field, she is old because the other girls on the team were like 18, 22, like very young. So she's passing the baton. But like her, I wanted to shout out the team. It was her, Dalila Muhammad, Sydney McLaughlin, and my new fave, Athing Mo. She's from Trenton, New Jersey. She's of South Sudanese descent. Sis is bad. Like I will definitely be following her. Like she won that 800-meter race. Like I don't know what you girls came here to do, but y'all gonna have to fight for silver back there. It's not my business what you do. And she did the same thing when she anchored the 4x4. She took that baton and said, you girls can fight for gold, for silver back there. I've got gold, and I'm not letting up. You won't catch me. I'm out. I'm in these streets, and I love it. Also, shout out to the Jamaican 4x100-meter relay winners, Brianna Williams, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Hara, and Sharika Jackson. Shout out to them. Jamaicans be so Jamaican. Like, you know they're Jamaican when you see them. Like, and them four look Jamaican when you see them. Shouts out to them. Shouts out to all the people that came out. Shouts out to the guy, the Italian guy that won the 4x100, Lamont Jacobs. I said Lamont Jacobs. When they said Lamont Jacobs from Italy, I was like, who? I thought they were like just somebody had messed up the announcement. And I had to go back and look. And Lamont Jacobs runs for Italy, but he definitely is giving African American realness because all Lamonts are black. Like, that's a fact. So shouts to him. And I think Italy won another. I think they won or they medaled in the 4x1 as well. So kudos to them. But the black girls have won the Olympics. Grand opening, grand closing. In interesting news, wild news. So I saw this article. This Russian woman is suing McDonald's because their Big Mac ad caused her to break her Lenten fast. That's what she said. That's what it said. Their advertising was so enticing that it caused her to break her fast for Lent and go get a Big Mac. So she's suing. It's not for a lot of money, but she's suing for like moral
moral
compromise, distress.
It's too much.
It's not a lot of money. It's something like $20. But I'm like, sis.
It's more than zero.
Yeah, I'm like, sis, girl, we all been weak. Like Donnie said, we fall down, but we get up. Okay, we all been weak. We all been on a fast, and we just couldn't resist, and we ate something we weren't supposed to eat.
You're suing for good marketing now.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, give them people a raise, support them people, because they had the lady break on her whole fast. It's wild. Okay,
you can't sue for good marketing.
It's not how that works. Okay.
You can sue for false marketing. You can't sue
for effective marketing. The marketing did what it was supposed to do. It gave what it was supposed to have gave. It wanted you to go buy a Big Mac, and that's what you did. So they succeeded. Well, okay, girl, go off.
Because she can't win this because it will start spiraling.
Yeah. I'm sure McDonald's is like, girl, okay.
You can't sue for good marketing.
Yeah, that's not how that works. So, moving on. So, as you all know, we're in a Panasonic, a pandemic, a pandemonium, a Pentagon, a parallelogram, all those things. And they all have variants. There's a Delta variant, a Lambda variant. There's variants. The variants outside. And apparently, 45 was on Fox News doing an interview. For what reason, I do not know. And he said, and I quote, "Could you imagine if I were president right now and we had this massive attack from the coronavirus? You know they like to call it they have many new names and they'll have other new names, but it's exactly what we had." Who's going to tell him? Can you imagine if we had the coronavirus when I were president? Who's going to tell him that he was president when it got here? Who's going to say it? Who's going to bring it up? Because, and then they're calling it different names. What different names? I've heard COVID. I've heard coronavirus. I've heard the variant, the different names of the variants, but I haven't heard anybody calling it anything other than the Rona, the Vid, the like. We've all been pretty consistent in what's going on here. So, just wow. Can you imagine if I were president with something? You were, my guy! What? I don't even understand. But I just wanted to share that tidbit with y'all because I was flabbergasted. And again, it was something I thought was fake. But I heard the recording of him actually saying it. I was just like, he got to be senile. Got to be. Because you was president in March of last year when the COVID had got here. So I'm not clear about what this statement means. But anyway. Moving on to other dudes who've been tripping. Kanye been pump faking us with this Donda album for the last like 3 weeks, and I'm sick of it. Okay, where is the album, Mr. West? You had a whole party down to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, had the people outside. 2 whole function, no album, no album. Where is it, sir? They allegedly saying it's coming out August 9th, but at this point, I don't believe it. I will believe it when I log into my Tidal account and I see it in my new albums to download.
He's out here doing cartwheels in your money.
Kanye done had people come to the goddamn the Mercedes-Benz Stadium twice now. Twice.
You got a cartwheel in your money.
Twice. Nan album in sight.
Cartwheel in your
Nan album.
Cartwheel in your pre-orders.
We're sick of it. We're sick. Truly. Sick. Do you hear me?
He's like, this pre-order money.
Come on to my face, Mr. Kanye.
Pre-order money.
I'm like... Because when I saw the second thing, I was like, oh, so the album must be coming. Like, this not... Nope. Friday came, Nan album. I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this, okay? Thank you so much, Mr. Kanye. So we'll see if it come out on the 9th or not. But at this point, I don't believe anything. New music, moving on to that part. So Nas, King's Disease 2 is out. I haven't gotten to listen to it all the way through, but people say it's good.
It is good.
It is good. There's a feature with Lauryn Hill. She showed up on time for something, and she gave him a feature. So
she talked about that too.
Shouts to Lauryn.
He talked about Kanye. Eminem. I think this is the first Eminem Nas song.
Okay. I don't think I would ever put them two together, but
yeah,
okay.
Eminem Nas song.
Yes. Also, with new music out this week, if you're looking for some gospel to get you through, Tamala Man released Overcomer. Get into that. And I gotta shout out my Aquarian sis Tinashe. You ain't getting no noise, getting fed to turn up with the big boys. I don't know what happened to that girl's career. I think it might have been the record label she was signed to because they're not known to be great for like black female artists. But she's also released a project called 333. So if you're looking for some breathy R&B, Tinashe is where to get it at. So I've given you rap, I've given you gospel, I've given you breathy R&B. You're welcome. Look into the options. But that's it. Anything else you have to talk about?
Yes. So last week there was a versus.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And the versus was between the Locks and the Dipsets. So I was rooting for the Locks. My only initial before it actually happened, hesitation was because I was like, if Dipset comes with a lot more single songs, individual songs, like if you have a lot, because like Jim Jones got a good amount of songs, Cam got a good amount of songs, if they come with like individuals, they have a good set, they have a good run. The problem is they were playing two different games.
Yeah.
They were playing two different games.
Well, the Locks came to play a game. Dipset came to just be on the stage and play some music.
Because
they didn't come to do the same thing.
Like I'll be honest, it's just the Locks played it correctly.
Yes.
Because Dipset was approaching it like every other verses. Right? You play music back and forth.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you rap to it, sometimes you don't. The most thing is like, it's just a celebration of music back and forth. Right? It's usually just you play the track and go, like they probably did a sound check with the track, you play the music, and people are going to jam out and everything. It's kind of like a listening party.
Yeah.
Of old music. It's not really a concert. It's like that's not how it's been before. The Locks said, "We gonna make this a concert."
Right.
You might not have a concert, but we have a concert.
Right.
And you can't. And listening party versus concert always wins.
Every time.
So
Jada and the Locks came knowing their words. They were prepared for every situation. They came with energy. They came with the smack talk.
And they set the energy. Like, honestly, the worst thing Dipset did was make them go first.
Yes.
Because they set the tone.
Yes. First of all, the Locks came out to music. And
they came out
Dipset
first.
just came out like, oh, we here.
They came out on time.
Yes, they came out, yeah. Like,
so, like...
The presentation of the Locks was just better.
Yeah.
And it was like... And I know the Locks and Dipset are different group sizes, but like... Freaky Zeke, I'm not sure why he was there with Dipset. I'm not sure. He was doing a lot.
He's like the manager. So
a lot.
So
he was doing a lot. A lot. And the people didn't understand. And like, one of my friends was like roasting Freaky Zeke the whole time he was watching. And at first I felt bad. I was like, dang, can you let up off of him? But like, the more Freaky Zeke kept doing, the more I was like, well, I mean, he's creating an opportunity to be dragged in the way that he's being dragged. Like, just the fact that people was forgetting words, and like there was just a lot of random dancing all over the stage. Like, Jim Jones fell off the stage at one point in time. We didn't see that during the verses, but like another angle caught it after the fact.
He spoke about it. He said he jumped off the stage.
He jumped off the stage
because he was trying. I guess he like one of his rings fell off.
Okay.
And he jumped to get it before someone got it.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
Because I was like, it was very abrupt.
Yeah, but yeah, like I think that yeah, like...
So the Locks won. Grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah, because, like, Locks came in, it was serious and everything. They were talking about go first, or who go first. Locks started with, like, Kim, You Live in Miami, hit the song. First song was...
And, I mean, downhill from there, honestly.
Yeah, the first song was F You, and I was like, okay, so this is where we're going.
Like, this is how it's starting. This is the energy.
This is how we're going.
This is the energy.
And then, like... And this, I've said this in social media. Some people didn't agree, but I fully agree. It was weird because there were certain songs that maybe should have hit better. They should have definitely hit better than they should have. Like, even like that first song, and then like, what's it called? They play I'm Ready after by Dipset, which I think I might like more. But not then.
Yeah, not in that moment.
Not the way they played.
Not in that moment.
Because the Locks came, rapped the whole thing, rapped it with energy and everything, and Dipset just played the song. And like...
Right, and it wasn't like, they just played the instrumental, like they played their vocals on it.
And like, and Joel wasn't rapping the same way, because he was kind of, like, I don't think he came in ready to like rap. He came to like just vibe out to the song.
Right.
Like, Cam brought the beach chair and everything. Like, they came to just vibe out.
Yeah, they came to vibe out. And the Locks came to war.
Yeah, they came to war. They came to like talk crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was It was crazy.
Yeah. It was the most New York thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. I have never, like, my God, like the whole thing with the too many people being on stage and they having to say like 10 times, get off. Yeah. I was like, this is a New York event, hands down.
Yeah, but the Lock said that they wanted to make it like a 90s kind of show. Yeah. Like they did that on purpose.
Yes.
Like they wanted to make like a 90s show, like how it was back then, like this, create the whole vibe of how it was late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. Yeah, and it was.
Yeah, I think all in all, like the energy was great. It was great vibes. It was a good time. It was like, I hate to be like corny, but like it was definitely like a hip hop one kind of moment. But I also feel like Dipset played themselves. Y'all see how Jada came a body Fab when they did their individual verses. What did you think he was doing when he brought Chic and Styles? Yeah. Like they're coming to body people. Like that's what they're doing. It was
more aggressive.
Wild aggressive. Like, to an untrained eye, them dudes was getting ready to tussle, okay? Because it was wild talk happening. There was one point where I think Styles P like had Cam's foot in his hand and Cam was like kicking it. I was like, what is going on here?
Like
what is going on?
We found out later, like Cam and Styles like we're cool. It's not necessarily.
Yeah,
like,
we just playing with one another.
We said we were gonna get chippy.
Right.
I was telling Kristin, I was like, everybody was saying like, yeah, we cool. As long as no one says SMD, we cool. Yeah. And it's such a New York thing to say. Like, you can curse me out. You can say F. You can do.
You can talk about my mama. You can do all types of things.
You invite me
to your phallus. All bets are off. Like the disrespect has officially been laid out. Now I must respond.
That is where the line is.
Yeah.
New Yorkers always have that line.
Yeah. If anybody on that stage had said S my D, pandemonium.
Like that is always the line. You can say F. You can say all the things. As soon as you say that, you have crossed the line.
Pandemonium.
All bets are off.
Pandemonium. Straight pandemonium. Straight pandemonium. But it was a really good verse. I would say it's one of my favorite ones. I think this is my favorite one is still Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. Yeah. But this one is one that I would watch again.
But it was a vibe. I think people like the Beanie Man and Bounty Killer for, like I feel as if Beanie Man and Bounty Killer had a lot of unfair advantage of why it's being great. Mm-hmm. Number one is dance music.
Yeah. Number one, it was the first one to be in the same room.
Live. Number one, dance music. Number two, first time live. Number three, they were being chippy themselves.
Yes, exactly.
So it was like it was just like a lot of, and it was funny.
Yes.
So it was like it had a lot of things.
It had a lot of memorable moments.
So it's like it's hard to debate that not being the best one, but this one is a close second to me. It was very New York.
Agreed.
I'm not sure if anyone outside of New York cared as much as I did,
but we cared. I care.
Yeah. Yeah. But like it was fun to watch.
It was.
It was aggressive. I know people outside of New York are not used to people being that like. I don't know if people from outside of the state can be that aggressive and still be cool though.
Yeah.
So like we because like a lot of people don't understand like New Yorkers are just very aggressive sometimes. Don't even know we're not cool.
Right. Yeah. To the untrained, that's why I said to the untrained eye, it would look like there was some friction happening in there. But
like, if someone's that aggressive down south, they're not cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like up here, people just be talking rough, but nothing's going on.
Yeah. We'd be cool.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if down south or like even California, you can be that aggressive and still be cool after.
Yeah. That's a big fact. Yeah, I don't know what they have next coming up for the verses. I don't think they've posted anything yet. But this was a good one to tide people over for a bit. What's his name? Fat Joe was recounting it afterwards, and that was also hilarious. He was like, yeah, the COVID was in there. God bless. The COVID was in there. And then they played the song New York that Fat Joe was on, and he was like, I almost pulled a little mama and ran up there, but then I had to be cool because... That's not what people invited me there to do.
He was like, yo, when they were playing the Welcome to New York, I was like, great, awesome. He said, when they played New York, I was neutral before, but you played the song I'm on, I went crazy. I was like, yeah. That battle was great. If you have not watched it, you have not listened to it.
Yeah.
Give it a listen. It is very New York. If you want a glimpse of what late 90s, early 2000s New York hip hop was, listen to that. That's how the concerts was.
Yeah.
That's how like hip hop was. You get a good glimpse.
Yeah.
A good glimpse after watching that.
Yeah.
It's very aggressive. It's very aggressive, very hostile.
Yeah. Very hostile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nah, that was it. All
right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And
yes, we appreciate y'all.
We'll catch you later. And with that said,
until next time, we bid you adieu. Shoot it. Everybody, rock your body, everybody.